The room was filled with 5 aliens, each sitting at a large table. They came from different parts of the galaxy, each one proud of their battleships. Their ships were huge and powerful, and they made sure everyone knew it. They told stories of their victories, of battles won and enemies defeated. Their voices were full of pride, and they laughed at the thought of anyone challenging them. Commander Rachel Pierce sat quietly at the edge of the table, listening to their boasting. She was a human, and her ship, the Vanguard, was not as large, or as well known as the alien battleships. But she wasn't bothered by their words. She knew the time would come when the aliens would see what humans were truly capable of. They just didn't know it yet. The aliens spoke for hours, each one trying to outdo the other. They described their ships in great detail. One alien captain, a tall creature from the planet Zanera, claimed his ship could destroy entire fleets. With just one shot, another alien, a small, quick being from Varel, said their ship could move faster than any other in the galaxy. And yet another alien captain, a woman from the planet Trevos, said her battleship had shields so strong that nothing could break through them. The boasting continued. But Commander Pierce remained calm. She didn't interrupt or challenge there. Words she knew that showing off wouldn't win a battle. It was about strategy, about thinking ahead, and about having the right tools. Humanity had those tools. When the aliens finally fell silent, Pierce stood up. Her face was serious, but there was a calm confidence in her eyes. "It's impressive," she said. "But there's something you haven't seen yet." The aliens looked at her, curious. They were used to being the strongest, but something about Pierce's tone made them uneasy. She didn't say another word. Instead, she signaled to her crew, and outside the room, the human fleet began to move into position. The aliens didn't know it yet, but they were about to learn a valuable lesson. Humankind may not have the biggest ships, but they had something far more powerful: strategy and the element of surprise. And they were about to witness it firsthand. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The aliens stood in silence as Commander Pierce motioned for her crew to move into action. It was time to show them what the human fleet was capable of. The 5 alien captains, who had boasted so much about their ships, didn't know what to expect. They thought they had already seen it all, but they were wrong. Pierce calmly walked to the front of the room, her eyes steady. "Prepare for the demonstration," she said. "You will see something you never expected." Outside, in space, the Vanguard and the rest of the human fleet were getting into position. The alien ships remained in place, confident in their strength. The aliens still didn't realize how dangerous the humans could be. They had underestimated them. As the human ships moved into formation, they were almost invisible, blending into the vastness of space. The Vanguard had advanced stealth technology. That made it nearly undetectable. Alien ships couldn't see anything. They were left in the dark, unaware that the humans had already set the stage for their first strike. Suddenly, a small signal flashed across the room, telling Commander Pierce that everything was ready. The Vanguard had appeared from behind a moon, its sleek hull shining in the light of a distant star. The alien ships froze in shock. They had not seen anything like it. The human fleet moved quickly, circling around the alien ships with precision. The alien captains watched as the humans worked together, each ship moving in perfect harmony. It was as if they had been practicing for this moment for years. Each movement well planned and calculated. The aliens, who had laughed at the thought of a human fleet being a threat, now felt the weight of their arrogance. They realized their ships, while strong, were not as advanced as the humans. The Vanguard was fast and silent, striking from unexpected angles, confusing the aliens. The humans didn't need the biggest ships to win. They just needed to be smarter. Commander Pierce watched calmly as the battle simulation unfolded. The humans had already taken the lead, and the aliens were struggling to keep up. The time for boasting had passed. Now, the aliens were learning that in war, it wasn't about the size of the ship. It was about how you used it. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The alien captains watched in disbelief as the human fleet continued its flawless movements. The Vanguard was unlike any ship they had ever seen. It was fast, silent, and precise. The alien ships, which had once seemed so powerful, were now struggling to keep up with the human strategy. One of the aliens, a tall, broad-shouldered captain from Zanira, tried to get a lock on the Vanguard with his ship's weapons, but the human ship was too quick. It darted through space, slipping between the other ships in the fleet like a shadow. The alien captain cursed under his breath. He had never experienced anything like this. His ship's weapons had failed to hit the Vanguard even once. "What's going on?" he muttered to his crew. "Where is that ship?" Another alien captain from Virel shook his head. "It's impossible. Their ship isn't even showing up on our scanners. How are they doing this?" Meanwhile, Commander Pierce was calmly watching the situation unfold. She had expected the aliens to be confused, but she didn't let her focus slip. The battle simulation was going according to plan, but it was important to keep the pressure on. The Vanguard wasn't the only secret weapon the humans had. The rest of the fleet was closing in, and the aliens were quickly realizing that they had been outsmarted. The alien captains began to feel a sense of panic. Their ships, which they had once been so proud of, were now just sitting targets for the humans. They tried to make their ships move faster, but the human fleet was always one step ahead. Every time they fired, the humans were gone before the weapons could land. The humans didn't need to fire powerful shots to win. They didn't need the biggest ships or the most advanced weapons. They just needed to be faster and smarter. And that's exactly what they were. As the aliens struggled, Pierce gave the order to end the simulation. The human fleet stopped moving, and the aliens finally had a chance to regroup, but it was clear the humans had won. And the aliens were left with only one question on their minds. How had they underestimated these humans for so long? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The room was filled with silence after the simulation ended. The 5 alien captains stood frozen, their faces pale with shock. The humans had outwitted them in ways they couldn't understand. The alien ships had been defeated without a single human ship being destroyed. It was clear that their bragging had been foolish. They were not the strongest anymore. Commander Rachel Pierce stood in front of the alien captains, her eyes calm but firm. She didn't need to say much. Her actions had already spoken for her. The aliens had been so confident, but now they were questioning everything they thought they knew. One of the aliens, a thin and nervous-looking captain from the planet Virel, spoke up. "How did you do it?" he asked, his voice shaky. "Couldn't track your ship? It was like it vanished every time we tried to lock on." Pierce looked at him with a small smile. "We have more than just powerful ships," she said simply. "We use our minds, we plan, we adapt, and we think ahead." Another alien, the captain from Zanura, stepped forward. "We thought we were invincible. We'd never seen anything like this. You humans, you have something we don't." Commander Pierce didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned and gestured for her crew to step forward. Her officers, who had been working tirelessly behind the scenes, now stood with pride. They were the ones who had made the victory possible. It wasn't just Pierce, it was every member of the fleet working together as one. "We work together," Pierce said, her voice strong. "Each one of us brings something valuable to the table. It's not about one ship or one officer. It's about all of us." The aliens exchanged looks, their pride now gone. They had always relied on their ships and weapons, believing they could never be beaten. But now they saw the truth. The humans had defeated them with teamwork, planning, and innovation. They hadn't used brute force. They had used their brains. The alien captains stood there, humbled. They had thought the humans were weak, a species that could be easily ignored. But now they saw them in a new light. The humans weren't weak at all. In fact, they were stronger than any of them had imagined. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The 5 alien captains stood together, still trying to process what had just happened. They had spent years boasting about their ships, their strength, their power, but the humans had shown them something entirely different. They had shown them that strength was not just about size or firepower. It was about being clever and working as one. The alien captain from Trevos was the first to speak after a long silence. "You've humbled us, humans," she said. Her voice was quieter than before, and her usual arrogance was gone. "We never thought you could be so effective." Commander Pierce stood tall, but did not boast. "You've only seen a small part of what we can do," she said calmly. "This was just a demonstration. There's more where that came from." Other captains nodded slowly. They had been so sure of their superiority, but now they saw the humans in a different light. They had been so quick to dismiss them, thinking they were weak, but now they realized that humanity had the potential to change the galaxy. It was not just their ships that made them dangerous, it was their minds and their ability to adapt. The captain from Zanura, who had once been so proud of his ship's power, looked down at his hands. He had no words to offer, but the look on his face said it all. He was no longer sure of the strength of his battleship, and he was no longer sure of his own place in the galaxy. The humans had shattered the idea that only the strongest could survive. Another alien, smaller being from the planet Varel, spoke up. "I have to admit I never expected this. I thought we were the future of this galaxy. But now, I'm not so sure." Pierce glanced around the room at the 5 alien captains, each one now humble in their own way. The humans had done something they had never thought possible. They had forced these proud and powerful aliens to recognize that the galaxy was much bigger than they had imagined, and humanity had earned its place in it. "We've only just begun," Pierce said, her voice steady. "The galaxy may have laughed at us once, but that will change. We will show you that humanity isn't just another species. We are a force that will be remembered." The alien captains, still recovering from the shock, knew that she was right. The humans were not a species to be taken lightly. The game had changed. They had just witnessed the beginning of humanity's rise in the galaxy. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The atmosphere in the room had completely shifted. What had once been a meeting filled with pride and boasting was now quiet, filled with a sense of uncertainty. The alien captains exchanged glances, no longer certain of their place in the galaxy. They had all assumed that strength alone could win battles, but the humans had proven otherwise. Commander Pierce could sense their confusion, but she did not offer sympathy. The time for boasting had passed. Humans had shown what they were capable of, and now the aliens had to adjust to this new reality. "Perhaps," said the captain from Virel, his voice hesitant, "we underestimated you. We believed that power came only from the size of your ships and the strength of your weapons. But now, we see it as much more than that." Pierce nodded. "It's not about being the biggest or the strongest. It's about strategy, thinking ahead, and adapting to the situation. It's something humanity has always done well." The alien captain from Trevos, who had been quiet for most of the conversation, finally spoke again. "You showed us that you are not to be underestimated. But can your kind keep up with the pace of the galaxy? The other races won't be so kind." Pierce thought for a moment before responding. "We're prepared for that. We've faced challenges before, and we will continue to face them. But what makes us different is that we never back down. We'll keep adapting, and we'll keep winning." The alien captains were silent for a long time. They had to admit that Pierce was right. Humanity had shown them that even the smallest species could make the biggest impact. The universe had always been full of bigger, stronger creatures, but none had the same determination as humans. "We're not done yet," Pierce continued. "The galaxy is full of threats. But now, when anyone underestimates us, we'll be ready to show them that we are not just survivors, we are warriors." The alien captains nodded slowly, a quiet respect growing in their eyes. They had once laughed at the idea of humans being a threat, but now they understood that this small species had the power to change the galaxy. And for the first time, they realized that humans might just be the ones to lead the charge into the future. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The alien captains remained quiet after Commander Pierce's words. The realization of how much they had underestimated humanity began to sink in. Their ships were powerful, yes, but they weren't unbeatable. And now, they knew that humans had something much more important than sheer strength. They had resourcefulness, teamwork, and the ability to adapt to any situation. Captain Alara from Trevos was the first to speak. She had always believed that power was the key to winning any war, but now she wasn't so sure. "You humans are Different, she said slowly. We thought we could dominate you with our ships, but now we see that you can outthink us. At every turn, Pierce smiled slightly, but she didn't let her guard down. It's not just about outthinking you. It's about never giving up, no matter what. We fight with everything we have. We fight for each other. The other alien? Captains nodded, understanding now. Humans didn't just have advanced technology. They had heart that made them dangerous. It wasn't something the aliens had expected to face. The captain from Zinara, a tall, broad-shouldered being, spoke up. Your fleet. It's unlike anything we've seen before. I don't think we've ever met a species so unified. He paused, as if choosing his words carefully. You've earned our respect. Rachel Pierce glanced at her crew, who stood quietly behind her. They had done what seemed impossible. They had shown the galaxy that humanity wasn't just a small species scraping by. They were a force to be reckoned with. I appreciate that, Pierce said, her voice steady. But this isn't about respect. This is about survival. The galaxy is full of threats. If we want to stay alive, we have to be ready. We have to fight smarter than anyone else. The aliens exchanged glances, some still unsure, but others beginning to understand. For years, they had looked down on humanity, dismissing them as insignificant. But now they saw that the humans had the potential to change the course of the galaxy, and they weren't going to make that mistake again. Captain Alara stepped forward, extending a hand. You were wrong, she said, her voice filled with sincerity. Your species is stronger than we ever imagined, and we'll remember that. Pierce shook her hand, knowing that this moment was just the beginning. The universe had seen humanity's true power, and from now on, they would no longer be underestimated. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The days following the demonstration were filled with quiet tension. The alien captains had left the human fleet, but their minds were still focused on what had happened. The humans had proven themselves to be more than just a passing species. They had shown their true strength, and now, the galaxy would never forget. Commander Pierce continued to lead with calm confidence. She knew that the aliens had learned their lesson, but the real challenge was ahead. The human fleet had to continue. To grow, adapt, and prepare for whatever was coming next. The galaxy was vast, and there were always new threats. The victory over the alien captains was just one step in a long journey. As Pierce stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, she looked out at the stars. There was no going back. The galaxy had taken notice of humanity, and now they would be watching. Closely, some would see them as a powerful ally, while others would see them as a threat to their dominance. One of the officers on the bridge, Lieutenant James Ross, spoke up. Commander, the alien captains. They're still out there, talking. Some of them have already begun spreading the word about the human fleet. Pierce nodded, her eyes still fixed on the vast expanse of space. Let them talk. Let them spread the word. We've earned that right. And if anyone wants to challenge us, they will know what we're capable of. She turned to face the crew. We're not done. This is just the beginning. There's a lot more to come. Now we're ready. The officers nodded, their faces full of determination. They knew what was at stake. The humans had made their mark, but it was up to them to keep proving themselves every day in the days that followed. Word of the human fleet's victory spread across the galaxy. Some races began to reconsider their views of humans, realizing that the tiny species from Earth had more power than they had ever imagined. Others remained skeptical, unwilling to accept the idea that humans could be a force in the galaxy. But Commander Pierce didn't care what others thought. She knew the truth. The humans had shown their strength, their intelligence, and their courage. And now they would be respected whether the galaxy liked it or not. Asterisk, asterisk. As time passed, humanity's victory over the alien captains became the talk of the galaxy. Some races who had once dismissed humans now looked at them with a new sense of respect. Others, however, refused to accept that a small species from a distant planet could pose a real threat. These were the ones who would challenge humanity the most. Commander Pierce and her crew remained focused. They knew that winning one battle didn't mean the war was over. The galaxy was full of powerful enemies, and the humans had to stay ready for anything. The victory had earned them a place at the table, but it also put a target on their backs. In a meeting aboard the Vanguard, Pierce addressed her officers. "We've shown them what we're capable of, but this is just the start. There will be those who will try to take us down now that they know we can fight back. We need to be prepared for whatever comes next." Lieutenant Ross stood up, his expression serious. "We've proven we're not to be underestimated, but we can't get complacent. There's still so much we don't know about the galaxy." "I agree," Pierce said, her voice calm but firm. "We'll continue to strengthen our fleet, build new alliances, and make sure we're ready for anything. But most importantly, we must stay united. Our strength lies in how we work together." The officers nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. The human fleet was strong, but it was the bond between them that made them unstoppable. Pierce had always known that it wasn't just about the power of their ships, it was about the power of their people. Outside the meeting room, the galaxy continued to turn. The alien races who had witnessed humanity's power began to reevaluate their strategies. Some saw the humans as potential allies, hoping to join forces and share in their strength. Others, however, saw them as a growing threat that needed to be dealt with before they became too powerful. The next few months were filled with tense negotiations, quiet alliances, and for some, open hostility. Commander Pierce knew that the humans would have to navigate these challenges carefully. It wasn't just about defending Earth anymore. It was about defending their place in the galaxy. As the Vanguard set course for their next mission, looked out at the stars once again, she knew that humanity had proven something incredible, but there was still so much more to do. They had earned respect, but now they had to keep earning it, one battle at a time. Asterisk, 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 asterisk months passed, and the human fleet continued to grow stronger. The victory over the alien captains had opened new doors for humanity. Some races welcomed them with open arms, eager to form alliances and share knowledge. Others, however, continued to watch from a distance, waiting for the right moment too. Strike Commander Pierce had expected this. She knew that not everyone would be ready to accept humans as equals. But she also knew that the humans had something others didn't have. Unique strength that came from their unity and determination, the Vanguard. And its fleet were now at the heart of a new mission. Humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer in question. They had proven themselves. But the real challenge was keeping their place, making sure they remained a force to be reckoned with in the future. One day, Pierce received an unexpected message from the alien captain of Zanera, the one who had been the most arrogant during their first meeting. The message was simple but clear. "We are not your enemies. We want to help." Pierce was surprised, but also cautious. The captain had been the most prideful of them all, and now he was offering help. It was a moment that showed how much things had changed in such a short time. The galaxy was no longer divided between the powerful and the weak. There was a new balance, and humanity was at the center of it. As the Vanguard prepared to respond to the message, Lieutenant Ross spoke. "Up. Do you think they're really offering to help, Commander? Or is this just another move to get us on their side?" Pierce paused before answering. "I think they're being sincere, but we need to be careful. They know we're stronger than we were before. This could be their way of making sure they're on our good side." The message from Zanera wasn't the only one they received. Other alien races began reaching out, offering to help, to form alliances, to share knowledge. The humans were no longer seen as the underdogs. They were seen as leaders. Commander Pierce knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was a vast place, and humanity had just scratched the surface. There would be challenges ahead, new battles to fight, and new enemies to face. But for the first time, the humans were no longer seen as insignificant. They were a force to be reckoned with, and Pierce smiled, knowing that no matter what came next, humanity was ready. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk,